right, we are back on Morning Line. Final segment with our guest this morning, Davidson County Sheriff Daron Hall. Got a few more calls for you. Let's go. Raymond's been waiting for a while. And good morning to you, Raymond.
Yeah, I got a question for the sheriff. Maybe a couple of. I see down in Alabama that sheriffs down there, if they, the sheriffs are allowed by the legislature of Alabama, if they don't feed the inmates, if they feed them 2 meals a day or something like that, what extra they've got left over at the end of the year or the end of their term, they keep that. And I see where one sheriff down there saved his extra and bought him a house in Florida. I'm just wondering if the state of Tennessee allows the sheriffs in Tennessee to do the same thing, because I know a local sheriff in one of these small counties around here that was feeding the inmates 2 meals a day and very little when he was feeding those two. And he was allowing the people to bring food up there to feed them their kinfolks if they wanted to. And I just wondered if the state of Tennessee was allowing sheriffs or any sheriffs were doing that same thing. Yeah. To me, that's wrong.
Oh, you're absolutely right. That is wrong. Wow. And the sheriff enriching themselves, first of all, there's guidelines, federal guidelines on meals and everything. And a sheriff enriching themselves, just look at Rutherford County and what happened to former sheriff there, Robert Arnold. You know, I mean, he's in federal prison as we speak. But I'm sure he's right. This stuff happens.
Yeah, and the Alabama thing was bizarre.
Yeah, I'm not as familiar with that. Do you know what he was talking about? Yes. The guy really bought a house with money he saved by feeding less food to the inmates?
Yeah, and I'm embarrassed to tell you this. I've been down there. I know the sheriff, but it was over years ago, 10 or 12, 15 years ago. Went down there over some of the immigration things we were involved with, but I didn't know this was going on. But sure enough, the state law in Alabama says some version of this, that if you save money on your food cost, food budget for running your jail, then you, the sheriff, get to keep the money personally. Now, I assume that started 100 years ago when you lived in the jails. A lot of times these people would, you know, and maybe it meant, you know, if you'll save the tax, who knows? But literally, so this person took, I think it was $400,000 and bought a beach house. And there were other years where some more money that they weren't sure exactly where it all ended up. But yeah, and
because he was able to save money by really cutting corners in the jail.
And so, and legally, he was able to do that. The law allowed him to do it. Now, he's in trouble. I'm not sure, maybe taxes and other things. But I mean, the law, it wasn't that he was, unlike, say, in our county,
he found this old law and took advantage of it.
Yeah, and it's terrible. And I think it's the worst law in the world.
Nothing like that in Tennessee.
No, well, absolutely not as a law. I'm not saying there aren't people who cut corners and do. I mean, for example, y'all remember Joe Arpaio. I remember I was out in Arizona, it seems like 100 years ago, and while I was there, just touring early in his run of sheriff, and I won't ever forget, there had been a tractor trailer wreck out on the interstate, and somehow or another his deputies found out about it, and on that truck were corn dogs. And he, the county, negotiated to buy the wrecked, you know, it's cheap when it's done because they can't go sell it.
Right.
And he served corn dogs. And he was telling me about, you know, serving all these corn dogs for 3 weeks in a row and saving all this money or whatever. And it was just a way to, you know. So I'm sure, as Raymond said, there are some counties that allow, you know, food to come up, and other folks that I've always thought, and it'll happen one of these days, you'll have the Uber Eats type of thing going into jails. And my point is not that the taxpayer should pay for it, but would you care if the inmate is buying food instead of you having to pay for his food while he's in jail?
Just like with what they were doing in Arizona. I mean, I would imagine most of his constituents said, well, if those corn dogs are just going to be chucked away, it's not going to hurt anyone. He bought it, he's feeding him corn dogs. They're not going to have a problem with that. You know, now if that's saving money, I want to know what he's doing with the savings.
Me too.
The main thing there is that he's not putting it in his own pocket.
That's right. And Raymond's right. The Alabama thing's a mess, but that was legally acceptable to do as it related to using that money. I'm not saying he's not in trouble for it.
All right, so the answer, no, not in Tennessee, Raymond, even though some of that may go on. Let's go to Lily. Hi, Lily.
Yes.
Hi, Lily. Go ahead.
Oh, hi there.
Hi.
I don't want to take up that much of your time, but I just want to add to what the others say. I'm not from Davidson County. I live in, actually, Montgomery County. But every time I see this sheriff on, I just want to sit here and listen to him. He is the best man in the world. I've never met him, and right now I can't even remember his name. But to hear him speak, I can tell he's fair, he's you know, I have a grandson that's, you know, the deputy sheriff here. But I just wanted to say that. Now, I've been wanting to call and say that for weeks now, and then someone else did this morning, and I thought, okay, I'm just going to ditto them. So keep up the good work, sir.
Well, thank you, Lily. I'm going to remember your name all day.
Around.
Well, and I tell you what, you have a good sheriff up in your county as well. I spend some time in Montgomery.
Well, I'm sorry. Yeah. I didn't mean to cut you off there, Lily, but that was such a nice call.
That was very nice.
How about that?
Nice.
That's a pretty darn cool call. She doesn't
know like the best? She don't even know my name.
I know she doesn't know your name. Davidson County Sheriff Daron Hall. I want to remind folks one more time, just as we were talking about earlier, because you know we may report this later. Again, just the fact that you're going to be taking, I guess, the presidency in June. Remind me again how that will work.
So you're sworn in to take over the responsibility in June of each year, and my year has been advanced.
And this is the
National Sheriff's Association all over the country, and be a lot of time in D.C. and dealing with, you know, the issues that sheriffs face. And what's interesting is some of those are very important to me, some of them aren't, but I still have to carry some of that information forward.
Does that mean you'll kind of be lobbying as well? Is that
we have people who work
yourself.
Yeah, but you're up there doing a lot of work as it relates to, as I mentioned earlier.
Now, I got to say this, though. Some people say that's a big deal and a great honor, and it came quicker than you thought it would. Some folks are going to say, that's fantastic, Sheriff, but is that going to get in the way of what you need to do here in Davidson County with the June jail and everything? What would you tell them?
If I had my preference, it would have happened a year later, because the buildings, there's a lot that went into all of that. But I have some fantastic people, and to be honest, I don't run the place, Nick. I mean, these people do great work, and it's just the truth. And so I have confidence that won't be interrupted. But selfishly, I don't love the timing of it, but I feel like it's an honor. It's not something I can fix. I can't move it around, and you know, I believe it'll all work out. The facilities are basically designed. We're just waiting on construction. We have a full transition team that works on every phase of doing that. I don't see me being gone out of the county maybe one time a month more than I am now. I'm talking about physically. There's a lot of interaction, emails and phone calls, and maybe a few more than that. But I'm going to sit down with them, and we go in February up to our regular meeting, and I'm going to sit down with them then and go through the schedule and say, here's what's doable. I also have a 17-year-old son that's critically important. I'm not going to give all of that up either. And so a huge honor. I can't tell you what it means. It feels, it's amazing to have sheriffs accept you. That's something I was very proud of. It just kind of interrupted my plans, and I'm probably not the prototypical sheriff that's been in that role, if I'm honest about it. And
what would the prototype? Well,
I mean, let's be honest. A lot of sheriffs that have been in that role are in patrol out west, or down Louisiana, or you know, Wyoming, or whatever. And I take a lot of pride in being a part of it. But the point is, I'm not. I don't know. I think I'm my own person, and I think I want to contribute. I want to be a part of it. But and there's things that I'm passionate about. Mental health is something I really want to do something about and try to help change. And I have an opportunity. And the state of Tennessee. I mean, Nick, this is just the truth. When I 16 years ago, I was sworn in as sheriff, but 8 years before that, I came in and was sworn in as the chief deputy. So I had 8 years of being the number 2, and then 16 years of being in this spot. I started being a part of the Tennessee Sheriff's Association when I became a chief deputy, and it was a joke at the time. I mean, we filed bankruptcy. We had no executive director. It really had no reputation, and so I never really found a way to get involved in the state association. This has been 20 years ago. Well, as I started to get involved in the national, once I got elected, the Tennessee Sheriff's Association really moved in I think a really positive direction.
They're a player now.
They are really active.
Who's the head now? It's Terry Ash, who
has done great work.
I like him a lot.
And we have a very good state association. But I never became super involved in it because the national was active and the local was kind of. So what's happened is I kind of focused all of my energy as an association there, and so really proud of the state association. We're going to see what happens.
Keep the growth, but congratulations to you on that.
Thank you very much.
Listen, we just have like a minute and a half, 2 minutes. Real quick, just to the folks out there, what they need to know if they want to help, or what they need to know to share with others about the Last Minute Toy Store and when it all starts.
Yeah, thank you very much. And thank Channel 5 for partnering with us on this too. It's a great opportunity. We helped over 5,000 kids last year. We're gonna break that number this year. So this weekend, over the weekend, you can come out to 5117 Harding Place. That's where some of our facilities are. It's our warehouse. It's where all the shopping will occur here in a few weeks. And so if you want to bring a toy, you're welcome to do that. You can bring a gift card. Those go to teenagers when the shopping occurs. So 5117 Harding Place this weekend. It also will be next weekend. You can drop off toys there. From the 14th of December to the 18th of December, you can drop off toys. We'll be collecting those. There's all sorts of other things. I highly encourage you to go to lastminutetoystore.com. If you know a family in need, you can register them via that system. Okay. If you want to help out, it's a lot easier way to get information. We're going to be at the Titans games. We're going to be at the mayor's Christmas tree lighting. He has adopted or helped us.
Is this something where people can bring toys to the Titans game this weekend, do you know? I don't know. They're hosting the Jets. It's an afternoon game.
It's the 5th of December game. Okay. Is that next week or this week? Help me out. It's the 5th of December game. It's next weekend.
Okay.
And I will say, Mayor Briley's having the Christmas tree lighting for Metro on Friday night at the Town Square, I guess we call it. We're going to be there with boxes. All sorts of toys can be brought to the.
When do the parents get to start coming out with the kids to get the toy store?
Yeah, it's the 19th of December is when the shopping starts. There's tickets
issued. It's last minute. It's at the end. That's when
we want it to be that. This is really about people who have no other options. We don't want people who are using 2 or 3 different avenues. It's called the Last Minute Toy Store for a reason. It's fantastic work, and our staff, instead of volunteering for the sober ride, are all committed to helping as they were last year. It is a huge endeavor, and real excited about it. It ought to make the holidays better for a lot of people.
I know your involvement helped a great event be even more successful last year, so hopefully it keeps growing this year.
We're going to push.
And the sad fact is there's the need. The good news is that you guys are going to try to fill it.
We're going to help. We're going to help.
Sheriff, thank you.
Thank you, Nick.
Thank you so much. Have a happy holiday. If we don't see you, maybe we will in December. We'll see how that works out. But take care of yourself. I'll be back with a programming note right after this.
Todd and Trinket.